Okay. Hi, class. I wanted to make a lecture video going over introductions and thesis statements. So the way that I want you to think about an introduction is the stage of your paper. The introduction has the necessary information that a reader needs in order to navigate and understand your essay. So an introduction is the first paragraph of your academic essay, of your essay for this class. An introduction has three different components, three different pieces to it. It's the first paragraph of your essay, but there needs to be some very foundational information in an introduction. So the first piece of an introduction is something called a hook. You know, sometimes when you're in school, you'll hear teachers call it your attention grabber. For this particular class, your introduction will not and cannot be a question. It can't be a quote. And it can't be like a saying, like, you know, things like what goes around comes around, you know. What it has to be is it has to be a claim. In some ways, I think about an introduction as a claim that captures the essence or the spirit of your paper. You know, one suggestion could be that you open up your introduction specifically by communicating, you know, what you believe is the most foundational or important idea to you personally that you took away from the assignment. So you open up with a hook, you open up with a claim that captures the essence of your paper. It cannot be a question, and it cannot be a quote or something cliche like what goes around comes around. It has to be an original claim. After a hook, you need context. And normally in my classes, I will give you a primary source that I'm asking you to write about, right? I'll say, you know, I want you to write a paper on the ideas communicated in this specific article or in this essay. So in context, you would provide information from the primary source, like, you know, the author, the title of the article or the book, and then a very brief summary of what the primary source is about. The summary should be, you know, somewhat objective, right? Like some of the key players, what was the reading about? What are some of the basic facts that a reader would need to have in order to understand the topic of your paper? Within context, because some of the things that we'll be reading in this class are pretty substantial, like they offer a lot of information. Within context, after you provide some of that summary, a little bit of that objective understanding of what the primary source is about, in that same area, I want you to think about the key ideas or elements of the primary source that you will focus your paper on. So within context, you want to provide a summary, right? A general understanding of what the primary source is about. And you also want to provide a summary of the key ideas, themes, or topics that you will be focusing on. So, you know, sometimes the primary source is a whole book or it's a really long article and the paper isn't, you know, I'm not asking you to write like a 10, 15-page paper. I'm asking you to write a shorter paper, and it's not going to be possible for you to cover everything. So you just want to pick and choose what areas you will be focusing on. So that's context. After context comes a thesis statement. A thesis statement is a claim that has a topic, an opinion, and a why. And I made another video lecture about what a claim is and, you know, how a thesis statement is a claim. So make sure you watch that. So the claim or the thesis statement, right, that comes after the hook and the context has to answer the question explicitly. The question is provided as the essay prompt, right? I ask you, I need you to write a paper, I need you to use this primary source, and here is the question. So the thesis statement answers the question explicitly. By explicitly, I mean that the answer is obvious, right? That once the reader looks at your thesis statement, they know what the whole paper is going to be about. With practice, we get better and better at designing claims, at designing hooks and thesis statements. So I just wanted to dedicate this very short lecture video on introductions and thesis statements. And I want to make sure that, I communicate the importance of having a solid introduction, because the introduction is the blueprint, it's the map for your whole paper. Just as a quick side note, if you did not provide the information in your introduction, it shouldn't make it to the rest of your to the rest of your paper. All of the ideas that you will be discussing with great detail in your body paragraphs of your paper need to be communicated in the introduction. Obviously, you're not going to be able to communicate all the details and all of that, right? But in general, right, in that area of your context, when you're talking about what the primary source is about and specifically what you will focus on, that focus area should be the only things that you communicate in your body paragraphs, right? Don't surprise the reader. So I hope that this video was helpful, and we will practice introductions and thesis statements. You only get better through practice and the feedback process. And I give feedback on introductions. I spend a lot of time giving feedback and introductions because it's such an important element of an academic essay. So good luck.